Welcome to Small Business CEO Radio, part of the Village Connector community, the People's Prosperity Network. Small Business CEO Radio is where small business finds big ideas. It's informative, it's timely, it's refreshing. It's Small Business CEO Radio. And now, here are your hosts, Sylvia Henderson, Lorette Farris, and Glenn Garnes.
Well, welcome to Small Business CEO Radio. And this is our inaugural radio program. I'm Sylvia Henderson, one of your three co-hosts, and the other co-hosts are...
And I'm Lorette Farris. Pleased to see you, Sylvia.
All right.
Glenn Garnes. And I'm pleased to see both of you.
Thank you.
And we are excited about bringing this programming to you. Today, we're going to talk about really what Small Business CEO Radio is all about. And so you're going to hear, we'll talk about the format, we'll talk about what you can expect over the coming weeks in terms of the show. And so let's just launch right in there. First of all, you can expect to spend about 20 minutes or so with us each episode. And really the show is about small business. Now, we're going to define what small business means for you, but first, maybe a little bit more about who we are so that they even know why they should be listening. And so who are they to be giving us this small business radio show? So I don't know. I guess I'll start. Again, I'm Sylvia Henderson, and the business is called Springboard Training, but the biggest program that I produce is called Idea Success Network. And really, I'm about ideas, helping you get your ideas out of your head and your heart and into action for profit, mainly, and for some, for purpose. And we'll talk a lot about doing that over the course of the shows. So that's just a little bit about me. I come from the corporate world, and now I'm working with entrepreneurs to use the same skills I use there in small business. So, Lorette.
So thanks, Sylvia. And again, I am as excited as you are in just putting this show on. Being able to speak with entrepreneurs and those rainmakers that are really pouring everything into what it is they have and what they're trying to do to make a business run. And my part of the ecosystem is helping to be really creative in helping the founders that need to raise capital other than just going to the bank to get a loan. There are a lot of creative ways to make that happen, and I just enjoy stepping to the table to help figure that out with those rainmakers that don't have other means to make that happen.
Wow. So I'm going to tell you, my name is Glenn Garnes, and this is my equity coach, and this is my idea coach. So I'm just here to learn along with the rest of you. Wow, what is my background? I'm a retired attorney. I'm the founder of the Village Connector community, the whole
ecosystem. That's right.
Ecosystem. Mm-hmm. We are the People's Prosperity Network. We're an internet, television, and radio network that's devoted to education, personal development, and this particular show is part of our professional development mission. And it's a great example of what's possible when people come together in harmony to work together and not to compete with each other. So I'm really proud to be part of this show and proud of what we're doing here. So
we want to let you know that, who we're we want everybody to be here and listen and to watch us. We're talking about business. We're talking about professional development in the business arena. So we intend to cover all kinds of topics. If you've got a question about something with small business, then we're going to tell you a little bit later how to reach us. And our aim is to answer your questions as well as to give you information that you can use right away and plan for the future. I mean, the broad range of topics we plan to cover are, and each of us is an expert in something, but we're all experts in some of the other topics together. So just things I'm thinking about we'll be covering how to be professional in the business setting, how to communicate with each other, how to communicate with other businesses, how to look and have a presence, that's a professional presence, how to get your ideas organized and clarity and acted on so that you actually make money with your ideas. Some of the other topics we're going to cover, Lorette.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into things like general business. Are you a legacy business or a lifestyle business or high growth? Do you understand how to figure out your tangible and your intangible assets? Again, everything I want to talk about has to do with capital and putting your boards together, whether it's board of director or advisory boards. So talking about the things that make a difference relative to your value proposition is really where I want to be able to dig into the conversations.
We're going to spend a lot of time on a lot of different topics, and we're going to be bringing you guests that have expertise that go beyond some of the things that we do. But one of the topics I think is going to be a recurring one is the importance and the value of connections and relationships in business. And we're going to actually, that's going to probably be its own segment shortly. Let me point something out about the format here that we may not have covered in the beginning, which is that these first 3 shows are actually being pre-recorded, but in the future, we'll be live streaming them as they happen, so you'll be able to participate in the discussion with us as we're producing them. But because we're just getting started, we're trying to get comfortable with each other in the room. We've kind of changed seats here, because usually I'm sitting in Sylvia's seat and the guests are on the other side of the table, but this is a new experience.
We're working on control issues here.
Exactly. I don't mind being controlled as long as I get paid.
There was a saying. I belong to a speakers organization, and one of the things we say is we believe in free speech, but prefer to get paid.
Exactly.
Exactly right.
I like that. Let me make a note of that.
So another thing you'll notice from these shows are sometimes you'll see 3 or 4 shows where we're in the same clothes. Well, that's because we're
in the same clothes.
I know.
Exactly.
We haven't slept together, but we happen to be working. We happen to be having the show or recording segments on the same day. So we're not going to run out and change clothes because this is meant to really have us be who we are and share what we have to share with you. And to serve you, the small business owners. And so, we're not worrying about a whole, not professional. We're not worried about a whole change of scenery and all of that. We want to bring you content.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And the great reason to break it up is because we also want you to get this in bite-sized pieces. We don't want to make it where you're overburdened by listening to. We don't want to make it too long, but don't want to make it too short because each of us can talk.
And
That's right.
And this was an important observation. I hadn't even thought about that until you mentioned it, but in a traditional radio show, it wouldn't matter because we wouldn't be on camera.
That's right, but they can see.
But because they can see us as we're producing the show.
We're trying to be good.
Exactly. But but that also, just from a lesson standpoint, when we're looking at these emerging technologies, and that's essentially what an internet television and radio network is. It's an emerging technology. We're able to do some things literally today that weren't possible 60 days ago, 90 days ago. Things like Periscope. They came out with Periscope Producer, where instead of just being on your smartphone broadcasting to a live stream audience, we now have the full studio capabilities are available to us to broadcast, using 4 cameras and switching and special effects and all that kind of stuff, where, every day there's something new.
Right.
So we're going to be bringing you the new, because as a small business CEO, as a visionary in your business, you got to be able to tap into that kind of stuff.
You got to stay on top of it,
Yep. So let's, one of the things we talked about bringing out to you right up front is actually a lesson right off the bat. And it's a lesson about how the best idea is sometimes a shared idea. And this program is just that. And so I want Glenn to talk about the development of this idea for Small Business CEO Radio. And I'm not sure, as we're learning how to operate the show here, should we say right about now, since about halfway through, believe it or not, about how we would love to have businesses participate?
Oh, of course.
Advertisers, sponsors. If you are a small business, if you're a business, and that's right, we're going to define small business too, but if you're a business, our question to you is, do you want exposure? Do you want positive exposure? Not notoriety. Do you want positive exposure? And if so, how about being exposed to a worldwide audience who is listening and watching programming about business? And if so, have we got an opportunity for you?
That's right. That's right.
So we're looking for, we're looking for you to sponsor. If you want to have advertising on this show, we're allowing for that. The first couple of shows you won't see that in example, but we'll start to bring that to you. But if you want exposure for your own business, you need to contact us. And our contact is
sbceo.com. www.sbceo.com.
That's right. And again, as our first show or two, just like with any business, when the launch happens, all the ducks aren't quite in a row yet. However, within a very short time, you'll be able to get to that website. You'll be able to see and hear the show very easily with a watch us now or a listen to us live or whatever the button's going to say, so that there won't be a whole lot of, where are they? Where are they? How do I get to them? Back to the best idea is a shared idea. So this came from an initial idea you had.
Yeah, back in 2012, I came up with an idea to create an organization called Small Business CEO. And my original intention was to help people get started in business. We created a website where we had a learning center, and the idea was for people to be able to come in and learn what it meant to get started in business. We also had a social network, which was designed to get people connected to each other. Now, it sounded like a great idea, and a lot of people thought it was a great idea, and it gained some traction early on as an idea. But technology changed, and people's focus changed, and we started to realize that it wasn't as robust an offering as we had originally hoped it would be. And as a result of that, it kind of got shelved. And it got revived in this show. I mean, we got revived a week or so ago because we decided to sit down and repurpose it. But we learned from that experience. And that was the key, is that we started it with one direction, and we were able to make a pivot to make it more powerful. And that pivot is a technique or a strategy or a philosophy that any small business CEO, any CEO at all, whether you're small business or not, enterprise level, it doesn't matter. If you're in business, you've got to be willing to adjust your direction based on which direction the wind is currently blowing.
That's right.
And so today's radio show is a function of the new technologies that have emerged. When we first got started, we were live streaming on Blog Talk Radio, and there wasn't a lot of live streaming of video back then. There was some, but not at the level that we have today. Certainly not live streaming to Facebook and Periscope and some of the other instant on platforms.
And I remember doing my first Blog Talk Radio. It's got to be 10 years ago.
Yeah,
From my computer microphone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sitting in your living room.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. The same way some people are sitting in their living room with their smartphones today, still on Periscope in that fashion.
In the part of this lesson that resonates most to me is even when you said repurposed it. Many of us as entrepreneurs have put our hands in so many different projects at different times. And it really depends on where our real focus is for what we continue to work on, and then we shelve other things. I love the thought process of SBCEO, where this was something that you really had already thought through and had pieces going on, and you shelved it, and now in a collective fashion was able to take it off, and here we are. You know, we have the plans for what additional can be done and helping to bring other entrepreneurs in to help them get up and going, and just to talk about how all of us as entrepreneurs have so many other things on our shelves that sometimes we might need to reconsider how to utilize them.
And you're right, because part of the pivot that we made this go round was recognizing what people found useful. People liked the radio show. they were not as inclined to go into the learning center and spend time with the lessons and everything. So what we're doing is we're delivering the educational content through the radio show, which makes it a lot more convenient. They were not at all interested in the social network. It was one more place that they had to create a profile where they had to be actively involved. We learned big time from that experience. And what we've done this go round is, instead of having a social network, a directory of CEOs in a social network that requires you to be actively involved, we've created a new technology, which is basically a browser-based app where each of the CEOs that's a part of this community that we're creating has their own profile, but that you don't have to be active in there. People look you up if they're interested in finding you, but you're not communicating through the profile back and forth. It's almost like the yellow pages of CEOs. And so most people that will become part of what we're doing here in this family will be able to maximize their time and to get the exposure that they want for themselves without having to constantly be actively involved in yet another social network.
You know, another thing that I like about it is having the profile. So your business profile is no longer just your resume or just your bio. Now it is video. Now it is audio. So those who may be interested in what you have to say or do can get some sense of who you really are, because they can see you, they can hear you, instead of just reading what you wrote on the piece of paper.
Right. And so the power, and believe it or not, as we're coming into sort of what we planned for the ending, but one other lesson from the evolution of this show is that so many people come to me saying, I've got an idea, but I don't want to talk about it because I'm afraid somebody's going to steal it. Now, we'll dig into this a lot more in other shows, but this just shows that in sharing an idea and having a collaborative mindset, that we three took something that you were thinking about, Lorette, and that you saw an opportunity once Glenn said something, and something that I do, and skills that I have in terms of interviewing and other things, and we go, hey, what's that? Ooh, we can create something that's really exciting from just sharing the ideas, but also having that collaborative mindset. And that's the key. Not, they're going to take something away.
Right.
You know, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because, you know, one of the things that's near and dear to me and to you, and I know it's near and dear to you too, but you actually have a business model about it, which is the mastermind concept, mastermind principle, which is people coming together in perfect harmony for a definite purpose. That's how Dr. Napoleon Hill described the concept of the mastermind. And that's really what we've created here, is a mastermind amongst the three of us. But we're also inviting other small business owners to become part of that mastermind. And I know that we're going to talk in the next episode about the importance of being connected. And we're going to show you where this directory concept that we created helps you to get connected, find the right people to associate with, and be connected in a mastermind type of fashion.
So as we wrap up this segment, let's talk a little. We're going to share with you a little bit about what's going on for each of us, so that you know what resources you have available in order to grow your business, start and grow your business. So Lorette, what's coming up for you? Or what do you want to share?
Well, I'd like to share, and here is my shameless plug. I am back to doing pitch events. So again, my platform being companies looking to raise capital. If you want to raise capital outside of the traditional loan arena, you have to get exposure for yourself, your project, your team. And so I love putting on the Pitch Me, which is an event that allows companies, founders to come on and talk about what they're doing, how they're doing. And with Village Media, we're able to get that information out there. So that's what I'd like to talk about.
So that's a pitch event where they're not striking out, they're striking up dollars.
Yes.
Right? They're not striking out, they're striking gold.
There you go.
And be clear on this, because it's your pitch event is actually a 2-segment television show. It's Pitch Me, the the actual presentations by companies looking for equity, and then you've got Capital Academy, where you get to interview those same companies in a more informal, conversational way. So you take them from presentation mode to conversation mode, and frankly, I find that just as educational as the pitch event.
So I'll take
Yeah,
this
go
back for
ahead.
1 second. And what has turned out to be really significant is because of rules and regulations, you can't really share the pitch me. But by having elements of it in Capital Academy, it has gotten quite a bit of traction. So I'm really happy for those companies that were able to talk about their business by way of capital that they need, but also just talk about themselves, and they've gotten attention in doing that.
Well, it's another example of a great idea, and it was one that evolved over time.
Yes.
And sticking with it. It wasn't, you had stops and starts and
Yep.
pivots and all kinds of things and battle scars, but you didn't give up.
Exactly.
And that'll be another topic I
Yep.
suspect at some
What,
point.
you want me to show the battle scars?
That'll be another
I
episode.
can show those.
And they will find out information about that how?
You can go to the website, www.ibossinc.net, IBOSSINC.net.
Okay, cool. And as we develop the SBCEO.com site, we will have links to our resources as well as other things that are going on. So you'll have everything in one place. But I want to make sure people know how to reach each of us individually too, in case they want to do that. Anything coming up for you, Glenn, or anything you
Wow.
want to share?
What isn't coming up for me? I have my plate relatively full on a number of different fronts, but I perceive my specific role here at Village Connector Community to be a supportive role of all of our members. So my goal is to make the TV and radio network as robust as it can be so that people can get their message out. So we spent a great deal of time and effort upgrading the studios to allow live streaming as we're producing this
Right.
radio show. 3 weeks ago, this radio room was just for audio.
Right.
Now we have the ability to record video and also at the same time to live stream it to a live audience as it's being produced. So 2017 for me is about positioning our members to be in production mode, not preparation mode.
Oh,
like
ooh,
that.
love
Yeah,
that.
I like
love
that.
that. And they find out more about any Village Connector events at
Everything that you need to know about Village Connector Community, the People's Prosperity Network,
Say
is
that
available.
fast.
Yeah, exactly. I'm good at that. Is available at villageconnector.com. www.villageconnector.com.
I live with a computer geek.
I know you do.
And by this being the beginning of a year, and people are all in that, oh, I'm restarting, I'm getting new things, I'm making resolutions or not in their heads. I've got something that I lead clients through in December and January called the one-page plan for the year. And that is a way to have not just a vision board up, because this is way more than a vision board. It's a planning tool, it's a decision tool for the entire 12-month period. And I'll be doing a couple of workshops. I don't have exact dates yet. You'll find out about them at IdeaSuccessNetwork.com. So that's IDEA Success, just like it sounds, network.com. That'll be information about that. I'm not
Excellent.
doing dub. And so with that, we are going to wrap up. And we so appreciate you being a part of SBCEO Radio. We will look for you to return next episode.
Small Business CEO Radio is a copyrighted production of Village Connector Community, the People's Prosperity Network. Permission to share, repost, and rebroadcast is freely given, provided it's done without charge of an access fee. If you have questions about this broadcast, or if you'd like to contribute feedback, please email us at feedback@sbceoradio.com. Thank you for listening to Small Business CEO Radio.